Hi everybody, how is it going? So BCH had my curiosity, now it has my full attention now that it's hitting some amazing highs and it breached every single target that I had in mind. Actually, it stayed within the exact target, but it met my minimum criteria target of at least $1,077. And if it broke that target, I was going to be very intrigued by it. Now let's go over some Bitcoin Cash. It actually almost beat the 24-hour volume of Bitcoin according to CoinMarketCap yesterday. So we're going to go over some targets and I'm going to show you guys how it was very easy to tell where the top was, okay? First of all, we're going to do our Elliott Wave count over here. We're going to go to, for example, a 3-hour chart here, okay? All the way from over here, we can say, okay? We're going to count this as 1, we're going to count this as 2, we're going to count this as 3, 4, and this is basically a 5th wave up here. Now, we're not too concerned about everything right there for now, so we're concerned about this particular structure where it broke out from basically 500 to 1300, and we're going to analyze all that together, and I'm going to show you guys how we obtain these targets one by one, okay? So let's do it together. Okay, watch this, guys. We're going to take where it pretty much the baseline support there to where this wave here starts, and you guys are going to see some amazing symmetry. So right here to about right over here, okay, we see the price range about 374, okay. Now this actually formed a bullish flag consolidation. This is really hard to see, all right. This formed a base resistance line and support just like this. So what we want to do is we want to, first of all, we have this range right here. Right click on it, clone it, and we use it as an actual target, okay? And what we can see right away is where the 55 EMA starts to break out of there, right on top of the resistance. It surely enough is almost a 1-to-1 ratio of this area to that area. And now that that hit, right, this actually forms another consolidation. I should probably draw it a lot better as well, okay? That formed a flag consolidation on a different time frame, okay? You guys following me? This is really important. If you guys don't know your technical analysis, I'm going to show you guys how we can obtain targets really easily. So it's hard to disagree that that's a sort of a flag consolidation in there, right? It didn't really have too much of a slope because it was that powerful, right? It was more horizontal. And this one I should probably draw it a lot better as well. Do it right to where the resistance is. And now let's make it smaller and more attractive. Let's put it right in here, okay? And now what we're going to do is take this region right here and clone it as well. And as soon as it breaks out of there, that's how we have our second target right here roughly, okay? So our target was roughly 3350 or so. It actually rode up to about 1420 or so. You know, I'm sure that if I drew it a lot better and more accurate and I used a different range, we'd probably get a better number. So let's see if I can actually do that. So I'm just trying to do it very fast as a rough accurate estimate, okay? So let's say I did it just like that. We get a 1-to-1 ratio again. It pretty much hits it, okay? So if you guys notice one thing, these are called measured moves, okay? These are measured moves all the way from where wave 1 of the sequence moved, okay? So from 1 to 3, and then from 4 to 5, it had a very, very extended 5th wave. And when we have an extended 5th wave, it is also very likely for it to do a double measured move, right? Where it will move the distance twice of that. So this one from 1 to 3, right, wave 1, 2, and 3, it moved $374. And then what we notice is right as soon as it starts to break out right here after the consolidation, it also made pretty much the same measured move, about 374, but this was 362. And then here it made pretty much an identical move as well, right? So it was very easy for us to identify the actual targets. And it's once we count the Elliott waves as well, we can 100% confirm that a correction is now overdue, okay? So what kind of play did this one make in here, all right? So we're gonna go over this specific Elliott wave as well to confirm that is now at the end. Very small one there, right? This one made one like that, and this one is now the 5th one right in here. So this from here to here is the 5th wave, okay? And every time, if you guys have noticed, this is making, for example, right here, let's zoom in so you guys can see, okay? You guys need to be very clear that, first of all, the volume is steadily declining. And if we look on a 2-hour chart as well, it's not easy to see, but you guys will see a bearish divergence. Would you agree with me that we're now losing strength, right? We're losing strength because of the lower low. We're actually down ticking already. And if we look at this specific candle right here, guys, this specific candle right here is pretty much a shooting star, okay? It is like a hammer, but it is inverted, all right? Where there's a long wick poking out. And what it implies is the market psychology that the bulls have attempted to push it very high up, but it was rejected and people were taking their profits and the bears have now taken down. And the next candle that is about to form in 6 minutes is also very, very crucial, okay? If this candle were to show up, this one right here, to show up on a downtrend, that would be a beautiful candle that may signal, even though it was red, that's okay. It might imply a little bit more bearish pressure bottom, but if it was green, it would be very bullish. But this candle after right now in this specific position is what we call a dead man hanging. And a dead man hanging, guys, is really not a good candle right now, okay? Especially when you combine it with very oversold conditions. On the RSI here, it can't break a higher high already. It's getting its triple peak already, if you notice on the top, okay? It's not getting a higher high, it's actually flattening out specifically. If we look on the histogram on the 4-hour chart, we're actually starting to downtick here already, okay guys? We're starting to downtick and I just cannot see it getting another wave. And the daily chart is the one that gives it away the most for me, where it's completely oversold in the 92. The daily chart is literally at 92, guys, okay? 92. I want you to put that into perspective, I meant to say overbought it is, and we're slightly seeing a downtick already. And the thing about the MACD, especially this 16 moving average right here, see there's 12 moving average, it is snapping too far out and it needs to correct and snap back down, okay? We are slowly starting to see it converge, okay? Here it is flattening out right here, we're getting a convergence, but now we're starting to get a correction bearish divergence coming in there on the 2-hour chart. And on the 2-hour chart especially, right, even though we see bearish divergence here in the long term, we're also seeing a bearish divergence in the immediate term as well, guys. So don't mistake in this candle right here for a reversal or support pattern, okay? We have now officially counted 5 waves with 3 specific measured moves, okay guys? 1, 2, and 3, from all the way here to here and here was $375. And then coincidentally, right, at the end of that wave where we finished this big one from 1 to 5, it made double the measured move there to complete all 5 Elliott waves. Now, you guys can also read the blog version as well if you'd like. Now, what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to see how far this can correct, okay? So if we actually look on here, we can see it very clearly. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, and that is 5. It fits the Elliott Wave principles with an extended 5th wave. Now, how much did it move one more time, just to show all the viewers? From 1 to 3, it moved, we'll just say that, what random price, 389K. And then here, if we take 2 bars of this one, from where the support, where it pretty much ended, that's exactly the move that it was going to make up to here. And if you guys can see for yourself, isn't that a thing of beauty? See, 389 will make it. It made 3 beautiful measured moves. And any technical analysts that played this, congratulations. If you guys also recognize some of the same patterns that I did here. And now the big question is, how far is it going to recorrect to, okay guys? Because everything that runs very fast eventually needs to take a break, and it absolutely needs to take some rest, okay? So the next tool that we use is Fibonacci right here, okay guys? We use our Fibonacci tool. Okay guys, so grab your Fibonacci tool out just like that. Now there are a lot of different rules to follow. Now one rule is that it could fall right around to the 382 level, correcting here, and it will make a simple ABC pattern, which rarely happens, you know. We're just gonna guess where it is. Do not take all this with a grain of salt, okay guys? Take it all with a grain of salt. The time and the positioning, the price is what matters the most, and we're gonna talk about that. If it was a very strong bullish momentum, first of all, I want to make note that this is wave 1. All of this right here, guys, is wave 1, okay, of the primary cycle, we'll call it. So if this was wave 1 right here, we'll just call it primary wave 1 for the sake of simplicity. Primary wave 1, okay? Now what wave we are on right now is wave 2, okay? We're on the primary wave 2. Within this primary wave, there were 5 smaller subwaves, as I've already indicated there for you. Now this one will be a primary wave 2, and it could fall into many different types of correction patterns. The most typical one is probably a WXY, right, or a WXYZ if it was a triple Elliott wave combo. Now, I want to keep this a fairly advanced one because this is a very high market cap coin, so I won't be going over explaining every single tool that I normally do in my other analysis, because I know a lot of people have lots of stakes in this right now. And this analysis, like I mentioned, could very well determine the fate of your financial investment, gentlemen. So now we are doing a wave 2 correction. Now, if right here, guys, if it was a very bullish continuation, which I'm going to bank on it, okay? Wave 2 could end basically right here, okay? Now, if it was not too bullish, we might end up somewhere right around here in the middle, okay? So these are some possible scenarios. Let's say there was a deeper correction. I honestly cannot see Bitcoin Cash falling below the 618 level. The 618 level is based on Fibonacci numbers and the golden ratio. It is one of those key levels based on all fundamental news factored in as well. I just cannot see it falling below 618. In fact, I'm going to bet that it will fall somewhere between 0.5 Fibonacci and 382, possibly even 382. Now, I want to show you guys, for the people that do not trade based on Elliott Wave, okay guys, I will show you one thing here. Now, if our Fibonacci tool of wave 2 only retrace, for example, 318 there, then what we can automatically assume, we don't want that, what we can automatically assume, if that's only 382, is that the wave 4 correction will be deeper, somewhere between 0.5 and 618, okay? Now, if wave 2 ended up retracing deeper, then we can automatically assume that the wave 4 retracement will actually be a lot less, okay? So if wave 2 retraced 618, we can expect wave 4 to be anywhere between, say, 236 all the way to 0.5. And these are some very important rules to follow, that one will retrace more than the other always, and they will rarely be both equal. Or, you know, 0.5 would be it would be such a rarity to have that. So we have to play by ear, guys. We do not know whatsoever how deep this will retrace, because this is now completely driven by fundamental news, and there's a lot of things going on, as we all know, with Bitcoin Cash, right? A lot of investors are now moving their money over into Bitcoin Cash because they see it as the next Bitcoin. Now, it would be speculative for me to say that this could overtake Bitcoin, and I will not even assume that for one moment. But what I do know is that for the first time, a coin has challenged Bitcoin in terms of 24-hour volume. Not only that, we've seen a dramatic drop in the price of Bitcoin, and there are a lot of new investors as well. Regardless of if it's being pumped by Korean exchanges, I understand all of the debates about it right now. Whether it's being pumped by Roger Ver or not, the fact still stands that the 24-hour volume is outrageous, guys, and there's a massive shift of capital right now from one coin to another, okay? And we have to understand that Bitcoin Cash is also very profitable, right? And there's a lot of things happening in the Bitcoin community that people in general are disagreeing with, right? There's massive disagreement. A consensus can't be reached for Segwit2. And, you know, it's a viable option as well when you think of the transaction fees, when you think of the transactions daily of 2 million versus 250,000. Wouldn't you guys agree? Transaction fees are outrageously low as well. We think about the block size as well, increase by the default size of 2 megabytes that has a scaling capability to 8 megabytes, which is fantastic. We think of Bitcoin with only a 1 megabyte block size, right? And a limitation of 250,000 transactions only. We think of all the miners that are controlling it right now, and it's fairly centralized. So there's a lot of factors that will make us think, hey, is Bitcoin Cash a viable solution? Is it an alternative right now? And the answer is yes, it is possible, but it is pure speculation right now, and I will not say that it's even possible for Bitcoin Cash to take over. So I just wanted to bring a little bit of fundamental arguments in here instead, okay guys? Until we have a consensus on Segwit2, until we get implementation of Lightning Network as well, there's going to be a lot of investors with their hands in the air just wondering, hey, what is going on right now? So there's going to be a massive shift of money from here to there, right? And especially with these Wall Street guys getting on, with Roger Ver, who's a massive influence right now in the Bitcoin Cash community. So yeah, so we don't know how far it's going to retrace. But what we do know, guys, is that it could possibly get to 382 level, right? 382 right here, if we were very optimistic and the market was incredibly bullish, we can get to about $1,000, we'll say, okay? $1,000, right around here. Now, if the market sentiment was still on the fence and there was some negativity, okay? Negative news that was fundamentally driving to a more bearish scenario, heck, we can get a retracement all the way to 786. But likely that's where the panic and the fear happens at 618 level, right? They are already very well invested in Bitcoin Cash, and I think a lot of investors and bigger players want to see where this goes, right, guys? We're all hoping right now that this is the next Bitcoin in general from a profit perspective, right? I mean, from my perspective, if I put in $1,000 today and in a few months or maybe a year, it's got a chance to ride up to $6,000 again, guys. Well, I'm incredibly happy about thinking that. Wouldn't you guys be as well? So we're all very optimistic right now in the market. Now let's look at all the different case scenarios, okay? Let's look at this case scenario where this one here retrace all the way to only 382. Now, assuming that this does a 1-to-1 target ratio, I am going to show you guys my Elliott Wave handbook. Alrighty. What Elliot discovered is that wave 3 is often the longest and never the shortest of the 3 actionary motive waves, okay? This is from an Elliott Wave textbook, and I have many textbooks that I refer to. Now, what he is saying is that wave 3 is never the shortest, okay? It is often the longest, but it is never the shortest. Now, if I take this specific wave right here, and I use a 1-to-1 target ratio, which I've done, the next target, guys, is around, let's make sure I do this right, okay? We are looking at roughly $2,105 as the next target if it retraced here. Now, this is assuming that wave 3 is at least equal in length to wave 1. But what we do know is that wave 1 can have an extended wave, as I demonstrated earlier, where it made the measured move of 2 to 1, right? So if we just assume that wave 3 is a lot stronger than wave 1, which is usually the case, right? We can have a target range based on a retracement of 382 here to actually, this is going to blow you guys away, okay? This is going to blow you guys away. Right here, $2,107. Now, that's just for a 1-to-1 ratio, okay? We're going to assume that it can actually go to here because 168 could be a very viable target as well. So we're actually targeting $2,800 possibly as well, assuming that it only retraces to here and assuming that the market is still very bullish. Now let's look at case 2 scenario where the market sentiment is not nearly as bullish, okay? And we retrace it to worst case scenario, guys. Let's go to worst case scenario and we'll even go back down to $500, okay? Let's say wave 2 ended over here, somewhere in here instead, okay? Now we're going to take the worst case scenario where it retraces to say 786. I can't see it retracing down here to lower, okay guys? So wave 2 could have ended right here, or wave 2 could have ended right here. This is worst case scenario. Well, worst case scenario, guys, we're still getting this. This is a 1-to-1 measured move right here based on fib extension. We're still getting to $1,650, okay? That is what we're looking at. So this is worst case scenario. If we get a deeper retracement, we're looking at $1,650. And then, you know, if it does a measured move of 1618, and we assume that the wave 3 is much stronger than wave 1, then we're looking at $2,343. Now let's get the actual price range, okay? Here, we'll say it's about 2788, and here, we're gonna say it's 1651. Now, we don't have enough information yet, guys. I'm extrapolating all this information just based on the primary first wave and making assumptions based on all these waves, which is kind of a stretch, right? But guys, this is what a good technical analyst does. They assume the best and the worst case, okay? And it helps us plan. And then when we combine it with indicators, it's very easy. It's very easy to play the game properly, okay? So this is actually our target, guys. Our target is actually this right here. Worst case scenario, if we get a deep retracement, 1,650 again, right? That's the worst case just based on 1-to-1. And the best case, assuming it does a 1.618 Fibonacci extension target, and assuming that it may be only retraced to 382, guys, we could be looking at a shy of $2,800. Okay, what do I think? I will take the average of both, guys. I will take the average of both, and I will bank on the middle right here. Okay, just a rough figure. I'm gonna bet on $2,300, guys. I'm gonna bet on $2,300 if this bullish sentiment continues. Okay, and that could happen just based on all these angles and based on proportionality, we'll say. Okay, well, based on proportionality and how long all of this could take place. Let's just get an accurate or a rough date range. Okay, a rough date range. I mean, if this impulse wave lasted there 18 bars, let's assume that the correction lasted twice as long. Okay, the correction lasted, actually we'll say it lasted 1.5 times longer. So we'll take 9 plus 18, that's 27 bars. Okay, and because wave 3 is the strongest one, let's assume that it equals both of those added up together. Okay, so that's now going to be equal to 27 plus 18, which is what, guys? Which is 45. Okay, 45 bars. So this is my guess right here. 20. Wow, holy crap, that's really close, guys. That's January 22nd. So wow, you know, that might even be overshooting it. Let's assume this is also 27 bars. Nah, you know what? We're gonna go with 45 bars here. Yeah, we're gonna go with 45 bars. Okay, guys, that's insane. So we could be looking anywhere between you know, I'm just gonna make a box here to, let's go to 27 bars for this one. We could be looking at, holy cow, January 4th to January 22, where we could see it reach a possible price of somewhere up to 1650 all the way up to 2900. Okay, so guys, that is extrapolation in the very long term, just based on one single wave. Do you guys see how far I am extrapolating all this information? Now what we need is this wave 2 to finish. Okay, once wave 2 finishes and we know rough targets, which is to around, say, 984 here, best case, and that continues a bullish trend. Worst case scenario, about back to 535. Okay, that's going to be amazing for you guys if it does that. So right here, I'm going to clear everything. Now that you guys all know your targets, I'm going to show you what is going on here still. Okay, with this fifth wave that's going on. So I know it looks like it's going to break out and go again, guys, but you guys need to understand that that's not going to happen right now. Okay, guys, this is not a continuation pattern. This is an ending diagonal. Okay, an ending fifth wave diagonal. That's just going to go like this. And as soon as it finishes this, guys, we are going to start correction time. And you can count on it. I've been doing this a very long time, and I'm pretty good at reading these signs, right? You guys have to make note, right, on the 2-hour chart that the RSI is bearishly diverging. Even though, guys, we are getting higher highs, higher high there on 0.3, this one will probably get a higher high as well, okay? It does not mean that it is going to go higher. It means that it is bearishly diverging, and I will give you a real case scenario. For example, with IOTA, okay? I'm going to give you guys a real case scenario with IOTA right here, okay? I'm gonna remove all my drawing tools just so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, you guys agree with me that this here is getting higher high and a higher high, okay? It's getting a higher high. This is an ending fifth wave diagonal, okay? An ending fifth wave diagonal happens all the time in the subwave of the fifth wave of the final wave. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what a lot of newer traders will think is that, hey, it's a higher high, let's go into it. But we got to make note of the relative strength index, just like how we saw it in Bitcoin Cash, guys. It's absolutely no different at all, where it is starting to bearishly diverge and correction time, guys. I mean, if we just look at IOTA, for example, this one is fairly bearish, right? This one's bearish fairly. It corrected at 0.5 only. That's all. That's it, 0.5, okay? So now we go back to BCH. That is exactly why, guys, I wanted to make sure that you guys understand that corrections are definitely overdue once we see these fifth waves forming, and they are absolutely 100% going to correct all the way from when it originally began, okay? Which is all the way from down there. That's why I was talking about all these prices, okay guys? Worst case, 786 level, 565. Best case around here, like I gotta draw this properly. Worst case, 550. Best case scenario, about $1,000. Now these corrections are going to be played by ear only, okay? It is impossible to guess exactly where it will correct to. All that we can do, guys, is guess based on Fibonacci levels for now, and we use the market conditions to get an evaluation of liquidity and how many people are actually wanting to dump, etc. Okay, and we're going to use indicators as well. We're going to look at the level 2 to see momentum changes. We're going to look at RSI. We're going to look at histogram, okay? And then once we find some sort of support that we see where the level 2 is, people are slowly starting to buy, where the RSI as well is slowly starting to bullishly diverge, where we're starting to see the MACD as well bullishly diverge on the histogram, where we see crossovers as well. So we're going to look for a lot of different signals that's going to give us an indication of when this momentum can change, and especially the volume as well, okay? We see the volume declining right now, okay? If we look at, for example, in a 1 hour one, 45 for example, you guys can clearly see even the volume is bearishly diverging, okay guys? The volume is bearishly diverging. Here it peaked, okay? You guys can see many different peaks. There's 1 peak, there's 2 peak, there's 3 peaks right now, okay? That is how we know based on Elliott Wave as well that this is 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, and this is 5, guys, and we are done. It is correction time. It is just a matter of time till the hammer drops, I assure you, and we are going to correct to one of those levels. But the great thing about every correction, guys, is that it's a work in progress, and with every major correction, we get higher highs. So don't think of this correction as a bad thing. Think of it as something that is 100% absolutely necessary, and then after that, we will see higher highs. So I'm now done my video. Please read my blog as well if you guys would like a written version of this. Sometimes it's a lot easier to read. I understand that I talk kind of fast. And if you guys like what you see, make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube, right? Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter as well. I do this full-time for a living, and I love doing it. It's my favorite job in the world, okay, guys? And if you really like this, make sure you upvote this as well, right? Help me accommodate for my time. It doesn't cost you guys anything. And especially, guys, if you guys love this particular video and you love me, my dog Luna, she's got her own little piggy bank for cryptocurrency. Make sure you guys donate to her, okay? She's the one that guest stars on my show, my TA every so often, the one that howls for us, okay guys? So have yourselves a fantastic Saturday night, and I look forward to giving you many more Bitcoin Cash updates now. Take care.